I sailed a wild, wild sea, climbed up a tall, tall mountain.
The past brings bitter relations between Taiwan and China today. Chiang Kai-shek, who was the leader of the Nationalist Party, overthrew the last dynasty of China, the Qing dynasty. He established the Republic of China, but faced a new conflict with the Communists and their new leader, Mao Zedong. Chiang Kai-shek soon controlled the government and waged civil wars with the Communists. After World War II, Chiang Kai-shek reignited the fight with the Communists, but was defeated and eventually driven off from mainland China, to which he settled in Taiwan. Today, relations with China and Taiwan are bitter. While Taiwan thinks of itself as an independent country, China still thinks of it as a territory.
The three major issues that still exist that cause this kind of relationship between China and Taiwan, I believe, is 1, historical reason, 2, is political reason, 3, is economic reason.
China wants to probably grow its influence worldwide, and also possibly its geography, and probably even world powers don't probably like that so much. Well, the United States, I would imagine, I think supports Taiwan militarily. We've sold them a lot of, I think we've sold them a lot of military arms, and that's something China does not like. And so it's a difficult position for U.S. in sort of our relationship with both countries, Taiwan and China. I think other countries, because of Taiwan, now I remember this, Taiwan can't be in the UN or can't be recognized by sort of world bodies, except sort of this sphere of groups in Asia or something. But because of this relationship and this issue with China, Taiwan sort of is a little bit alone in the world in terms of these organizations. Yes, I think Taiwan's probably done a reasonable job of that. Now, the United States has connections to China too, so the fact is, I think a lot of giant Taiwanese companies have operations in China. Now, I think that without any separate political connections or anything else, then I believe Taiwan could easily be on its own, just like Japan is an island and does fine on its own as well, so yes. A big part of the benefit would be that of the freedoms that maybe Taiwanese enjoy today that they may not enjoy under rule by China. I think that's actually a big problem for people in China right now, is just the government and the freedoms that they have. I think being completely independent and recognized, then they get to be recognized and join these world bodies, and maybe again people feel more nationalistic pride about sort of what they have there. Drawbacks are, I guess you could look at it and say in 50 years or 100 years or so, it's hard to say, but China's growing so fast and economically and so on, so that perhaps the wealth that Taiwan enjoys today is at risk a bit by not being part of China, because China's wealth is flowing into China at such a fast rate right now. But frankly, I think it would still be better to be independent. I actually believe that these things, like I said, historically, they actually will resolve themselves one way or the other, and either an incident will occur, and it doesn't have to be a bad incident, it's just popular viewpoints change. Maybe the United States and China actually might become more friendly, just like the US and Russia now. 20 years ago we all hated Russia, and now they're just kind of another superpower there that we're not sure who we're supposed to hate, but we don't think we hate them. China may be the same. We're afraid of China, I think, in the United States historically, a little bit less and less so. If the two become more cooperative over time and continue to be so, then the United States probably would have less of a say, and maybe as a Taiwan, it may become where they decide, just like East and West Germany, to say, hey, I think it's time now, and it maybe would work itself out that way. Now, that may not happen for 30, 50 years or so, or they may just say, look, be independent, we don't really care anymore. But something will happen and it'll resolve itself.
I grew up in Taiwan, so I'm going to share my experience. I was taught that Chiang Kai-shek was a hero and Mao Zedong was an enemy. And one day, we would take over China again. As a child, myself and my friends, we were forced to speak pure Mandarin and no Taiwanese dialect. If we did, we would be punished. As I grew older, I started to realize that China was simply too powerful in all aspects. And Chiang Kai-shek's dream to return to China was unreachable. And as a matter of fact, I began to realize that China can, if China wanted to, they could have taken over Taiwan at any time. And the only protection that Taiwan had came from the USA. That's why back then, a lot of parents, they would support their children to come to the USA to pursue their college degrees and pursue their future lives. I still clearly remember many years ago, as I applied for the US passport, I got a letter from the passport agency asking me, if I really want to list my birthplace as Taiwan instead of China. If that's the case, if I actually insisted that in the future, it's quite possible that China will prohibit me from entering the country. I still clearly remember that, and I could not at this day believe why they would do that. I was born in Taiwan, I grew up in Taiwan, and I wanted to list my birthplace as Taiwan.
Even with these bitter rivalries between the two countries, there are many solutions to help solve this problem. Like the Democratic and Republican Party in the United States, Taiwan has three major political parties, the Pan-Green, Pan-Blue, and Pan-Purple Coalition. The Pan-Green Coalition favors Taiwan independence over Chinese reunification. The Pan-Blue Coalition favors Chinese reunification over Taiwan independence, while the Pan-Purple Coalition favors the situation as is. With all these party choices, who are people going to vote for? It ends up that the majority of the people vote for the Pan-Green Coalition, which supports Taiwan independence. After considering the opinions of our interviewees, we come to the conclusion that although Taiwan could potentially benefit from reunification with China, the benefits of its independence are much greater.
In recent years, China's development has increased drastically, with no signs of slowing down. Taiwan can and does profit from this success, but in all political, historical, and social aspects, reunification would be detrimental to both powers.
The two nations hold extremely different political views. After years of democracy, the people of Taiwan would not prosper under communist rule. For 6 years, sovereign Taiwan has already established a working government and a thriving economy that could sustain itself without further support from China. Furthermore, the majority of Taiwan disagrees with their people and cultures.
Therefore, we conclude that Taiwan should gain its independence from China. As an independent nation, Taiwan would be able to achieve even more than it already has.
And if life is really as short as they say, then why is the night so long? And then the sun went down and he sang for me this song. See, I once was a young fool like you, afraid to do the things that I knew I had to do. So I played an escapade just like you. I played an